Taste the feeling.
For total home pest control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvant.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
Exiles from what you ask? Exiled from the radio. But now, we're on your television.
I'm Bill Profita, he's Kevin Gallagher, and they kicked us to the curb.
But we're back.
We are back with Exiles Television on the Pelican Broadcasting Network. We're going to bring you the newsmakers. We're also going to take your calls and give you great information. It's going to be the best damn radio show on television.
Look for it on your cable system or download the app, PelicanSportsTV.com.
It says here that Eric Guirard is back. Where has he been?
Well, I understand that he was in Georgia helping President Jimmy Carter build houses for the homeless.
Mr. President, can you put down the peanuts? A little help here?
Well, I was told that he was in Tibet studying to become a kung fu master.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Thank you, Marty. Hello and welcome to our first ever Friday TV edition of the Clarence Bug Show. It is a bit odd being in, quote, the chair on a Friday, but obviously taking off Monday because of anticipation swirling around, pardon the double entendre, Tropical Storm Cristobal. We decided that we would still do two shows this week, but instead of Monday, Wednesday, we do Wednesday, Friday. And, of course, it is an opportunity for our first ever televised Hugs and Bugs. For those of you that don't know, it's something that we instituted on the Clarence Bug Show radio version, oh my God, maybe 15, 20 years ago. On Fridays, the first hour of the show, we open our microphones to you. Whatever it is you want to talk about that bugs you, or someone went out of their way, performed that random act of kindness, stepped up to the plate in the workplace, in the neighborhood, whatever, did something for you that they really didn't have to do. What better way to acknowledge that? And what better time as you head into the weekend? You'd be amazed when you unburden all of these things out of your system, how much better you feel about it. And of course, the individual that is the recipient of that hug gets to stick their chest out a little bit and feel good about helping somebody else. And of course, if it's a bug that you have, well, we want you to get that out of your system as well. Top of my list on the hug side, every single Friday, hopefully yours as well. All of our men and women in the military, law enforcement, emergency response, and their respective families. Guys, girls, thank you. so very much for the jobs you do and the sacrifices that you make on our behalf. And a special hug goes to the dozens of Louisiana National Guard members that returned home to Louisiana last week after spending 10 months in Iraq. Think about this. You go from everything being fine at home to all of a sudden, for the next 10 months, finding yourself on war footing in a foreign country, come through that unscathed, only to return home to folks wearing masks and social distancing and stay-home orders and the whole nine. And yet, despite all of this, they still soldier on and do what they do. For yours truly, that's why they are real American heroes. Second hug goes to all the business owners out there and the employees that are benefiting as the state has progressed now to phase 2 of reopening our economy. Hopefully the last 7 days have really been a boost for you and has reinstilled the feeling of hope that everything is in fact going to be okay. You know, most people watching right now don't truly understand what it's like to make the sacrifices to accomplish the dream of owning your own business, only to have that yanked firmly from beneath your feet by something that you have absolutely no control over. Not to mention the responsibility that you feel to your family, the responsibilities that you feel to the families of your employees. It's just overwhelming for most people that really don't have a clue what business owners are going through. Hopefully, the last 7 days have reassured you that if you continue to make the sacrifice, you continue to go above and beyond what us mere mortals do, hopefully, when all is said and done, everything will turn out okay. Third hug goes out to the thousands upon thousands upon thousands of good law enforcement officers out there who have not allowed the recent events, the demonization of law enforcement as a whole, to stop them from carrying out the oath they've sworn to protect and serve. They did it, all the good law enforcement officers in this last week, they did it even though they're grossly underpaid. They protected and served even though the criminals on the streets many times have bigger guns than they do. They did it. They continued to protect and serve, even though they were demonized by people that know absolutely nothing about them. And they did it even though no one talks about the good things they've done this week and have chosen only to focus on the bad actions of a couple. They did it even though they were called the ugliest of names by individuals, again, that know nothing about them. And yet, they still decided every day this week, I'm going to soldier on. They did all this while dealing with COVID-19, just like the rest of us, staying home with their kids and taking up the education battle on behalf of teachers. They struggled just like everybody else did, but they still went out to honor that oath to protect and serve. And what is so ironic here, the good law enforcement officers, many of them found themselves out on the protest marches protecting the right to peacefully assemble and make your grievances known, all the while throwing stones and casting negative dispersions on the individuals that were there protecting your rights. If you have to ask why it's important, if you have to ask why we should acknowledge the good law enforcement officers, it doesn't make sense for me to tell you because you wouldn't understand. Just saying. Final hug goes to the class of 2020 for all that you have gone through in your quest to reach adulthood. This particular group of young men and women went through the flood of 2016. They went through a number of hurricanes, now the coronavirus. And yet, you managed to reach the finish line. I would venture a guess that the class of 2020 is probably going to be the most prepared generation ever for life. Hopefully, they will be able, from this point on, to look back at the struggles they went through to get things that the rest of us have taken for granted. Being able to walk across a stage and be acknowledged for your academic achievements. Being able to transition from one period of life successfully to the next. Understanding full well that this world in which we live is a pretty tough place these days. But hopefully, they will draw upon these experiences and be able to face life with a realistic view. Listen, in case you didn't know, the world is not going to hand you everything that you need. As a matter of fact, if you let it, the world won't hand you a single thing you need. But after accomplishing what you've accomplished, looking back at what you had to go through to get where you are today, hopefully it will let you know that with perseverance, with dedication, with the willingness to sacrifice, there isn't anything you can't accomplish. It is, unfortunately, a lesson that we have neglected to teach our kids. And as is the case in life with so many other things, when you fail to teach this lesson to your kids, life itself will be more than happy to step in and do it for you. So for the class of 2020, hang in there, guys and girls. The sky is the limit for you. And if anyone ever tells you that there is something you can't do, just remember, you graduated on time, even though the flood of 2016 nearly wiped you out. You graduated on time, even though you had to miss X amount of days of school because of this hurricane, that hurricane, whatever hurricane. Even though you faced the coronavirus pandemic, you still managed to pull it off. Always remember, class of 2020, if you've gone through this and come out on the other side, there isn't anything that can keep you back. You know, it's funny. It used to be that we would feel that way automatically just because we're Americans. Little something to make you go, Tell you what, need to get our first break of this hour out of the way. Got the hugs done. Oh, but the bugs are still to come. You didn't think I was going to let you get all this off your chest and yours truly not do the same thing, right? As you might imagine, yeah, bugs has some bugs, but that's going to have to wait till just the other side of the break. By the way, got a line for you. If you'd like to give me that hug or the bug, 225-831-1029 is the number that will get you aboard. We'll get our first commercial break of hour one out of the way. And yes, your eyes are not deceiving you. It's Friday. And I thought Clarence was only on Monday and Wednesday. Right. Oh, that's right. He wasn't on Monday, so he's making it up on Friday. Louisiana guy talking with Louisiana folks about Louisiana stuff. Doesn't get any better than that. First break, and we're back with hour one of the Clarence Bug Show here on the Pelican. Stay close.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La CONTEA takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La CONTEA, your Italian dining will change forever.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with MANDA Fine Meats. Here at MANDA, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. MANDA Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. MANDA Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it MANDA every time.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Welcome back to hour one of our first ever Friday edition of the Clarence Bug Show. For those of you that have listened to yours truly on radio for all these years, you know Fridays are a special day. We turn the microphone over to you. Hugs and bugs, the opportunity for you to send out those hugs, thank someone for going out of their way for that random act of kindness, going above and beyond, whatever they did to make your life that much better. And, of course, whatever bugs you, there's the opportunity for you to get that out of your system as well. In the first segment, took care of all of my hugs. Now, on to the bugs. How we in this country just cannot seem to make headway in dealing with certain things, and how our inability to deal with certain things leads us to so very quickly want to trample the rights of other people to make us feel better about whatever. What we are so quickly losing sight of in this country is what a right actually entails. Our rights as Americans are enshrined in the Constitution, and those rights are predicated on whether or not you are depriving someone else of their right. For example, you, yours truly, the government, whomever, does not have the right to infringe on where you can go. You, yours truly, the government, does not have the right to decide you can't pursue your chosen profession. You, yours truly, the government, whomever, does not have the right to tell you how to celebrate what you hold near and dear. Last week, NASCAR announced that they were banning rebel flags from their racetracks. Everybody cheered. Woohoo! Hooray! We did away with this racist symbol. But how many folks that cheered the move by NASCAR took the time to understand what for many NASCAR fans is the historic aspect of being a rebel and how deeply it is woven into the history and the creation of that sport? Now, for those of you that don't know, NASCAR was born out of prohibition. The government decided Americans ought not be able to drink alcohol. They're getting drunk, they're killing people, they're tearing up stuff. Y'all don't need to have no alcohol. But a group of folks rebelled. Not only did they brew their own moonshine, but they built specially designed, souped up hot rods so they could transport their hooch to the illegal after-hour clubs and the speakeasies. And yes, by the way, a lot of black speakeasies brought their shine from these good old boys. It was well known who the rebels were in just about every southern town. Now, knowing it was one thing, catching them in the act was something else entirely. As a matter of fact, when a promoter would roll into town, want to hold a race in this town, you know what the first thing the promoter would do? He'd stop by the local jail and talk to the sheriff. Say, Sheriff, I'm putting on a race here and I need some boys who can drive, some boys with some fast cars. Who do I need to talk to? Well, let's see, there's old Bob Johnson's boy, Junior, down there in the holler. Yeah, he's running about, we guess, about 300-400 gallons of shine a weekend. We just can't catch him. I don't know what he did to the carburetor on that 56, but man, we just can't catch him. All right? Junior Johnson down in the hollow, okay? Who else? Well, there's Tick Riley's boy, Robert. We think he's running about 400-500 gallons a weekend, but just can't catch him. He did something, bored out that carburetor or something. Looked like when he hit a switch, man, my cars just can't keep up. So he writes all these down. Those were the people that he wanted to hire. Why? Because they were rebels and they drove like it. They thumbed their nose at the federal government telling them, you can't drink alcohol. Well, not only am I going to drink it, I'm going to make my own, and I'm going to fix up a car so I can deliver it to the clubs so the people can enjoy it. I do not, nor do you, have the right to tell these folks you can't celebrate your grandpappy being a rebel and thumbing his nose at society. You don't have that right. Remember, y'all, the only time that your rights come into play is when someone does something that denies you a prescribed right. Will that person flying the rebel flag, even though some people find it offensive, will that deny me the right to get an education? No. In flying that rebel flag, are they denying me employment in my chosen profession? No. Are they denying me the right to vote? No. Are they denying me an equal share of public tax dollars? No. Is it denying me the right to speak my mind? No, it's not. Listen, y'all, it is the blessing and the curse of freedom and liberty. It's why, even though, as a black man, I despise David Duke and what he stands for, but as an American, even as distasteful as what he is saying is, I've got to be at the head of the line to defend his right to say it. It's not comfortable to come to terms with things sometimes in the emotion of the moment. Our feelings may not be pleasant, but ultimately, the only thing that should matter are the freedoms and the liberties that we have been entrusted with. And we need to do everything within our power to be sure they remain intact. Most people that criticize NASCAR the loudest and the longest are the ones who don't know a damn thing about it. But it's called being an American. That's okay. You don't have, everything is not for everybody. You don't know about NASCAR. That's okay. But for God's sake, y'all, don't demonize people for an assumption and your feelings. Now, bless your little old hearts, y'all don't know. NASCAR has what's called a D4D program. Letter D, number 4, letter D. The drive for diversity. NASCAR for years has been attempting to recruit African American drivers, start programs in the inner city, but you will demonize it just because you find it offensive. And while we're on the subject of being offended, the right not to be offended does not exist. Show me where it's written that you have the right not to be offended. You know what? You can't show it to me. You know why? Because it ain't written. English teachers, forgive me. You know why it's not written? Because making you uncomfortable does not deprive you of a right. It is a simple and beautifully crafted approach to governance, but it involves everybody buying in. When Americans of all ethnicities, all persuasions, all feel that the promise of America is within their reach, our republic is strong. But when a large segment feels that the deck is stacked against them, well, you end up where we find ourselves again. For the record, I guess I have to understand how some folks only want to criticize America while never acknowledging, even though America is so bad, look at all the great stuff that we do. Probably more than any other society in history. And yes, we do have our flaws. But folks, quite frankly, there's a lot of y'all that have no idea how blessed we are in this country. A great writer once said, travel is the enemy of ignorance. A great talk show host, I just happen to know, is fond of saying, conversation is the beginning of understanding. Most Americans, and most African Americans, have never lived outside of this country. And as a result, your appreciation for what we truly have here is stunted. Go abroad and visit some places. I'm watching TV just last night. I come across Congo Katana on the show Deadliest Journeys. Look it up. I guarantee you, you will thank God tonight when you say your prayers that He saw fit to have you born in this country. This is in no way, shape, or form to denigrate the people of the Congo. It's in no way, shape, or form to try and minimize their suffering. But just think, if we realized how truly blessed we were and we all decide we're just going to do our part, think how much better we could be. At the end of the day, we're all Americans, but we've got to cease being everything else. We have allowed the media and the politicians to split us up and pit us against one another. At the end of the day, you want to fix this? Stop being comfortable with me being a black American, you being a white American, her being a gay American, them being conservative Americans, those folk being liberal Americans, etc., etc., etc. How about we all just be Americans? Stop being black. Start being an American. Stop being white. Start being an American. Stop being a liberal. Be an American. Because if you don't, you end up passing laws, passing legislation that steps on the rights of some other group. That's how you end up with homeowners associations that tell you what color your house has to be. My sincere hope is that the racial wound that continues to haunt the soul of this country is not too deep to overcome. The easiest way to hinder progress is to constantly look back, especially at the negatives. It tends to skew your vision, and it hinders you from recognizing or taking chances on a better future. This is going to sound weird. Reconciliation involves a giving up attitude. You heard me right. Reconciliation between the races involves a giving up attitude. Give up all your preconceived notions about other races. Give up not helping get criminals out of the community where you live. Give up not taking part in your child's education. Give up not voting. Give up not knowing who your kids' friends are and who their parents are. Give up not holding elected officials' feet to the fire, regardless of color or party affiliation. Give up expecting other folks to do for you what you should do for yourself. And for God's sake, y'all, give up automatically assuming everything is about race the second you hear something you don't agree with or understand. When all of us give up in that regard, you would be amazed how much we get back because of what we gave up. Ironically, the more you give up, the more you realize what it truly means to be an American, endowed by the Creator with certain inalienable rights. When and if you can, give up enough, you will in time realize how fortunate you are to be where we are at this point in time. And hopefully, like yours truly, you'll come to the conclusion that what we have is worth fighting for. And what we have, at the very least, is too dear to destroy, if only because of sheer promise alone. I guess when all is said and done, only time will tell if we're up to the challenge. I just ask that you please make sure you did your part. Oh, that felt some kind of good. Time for a commercial break. Got to get it done. We'll do that, come back and continue on with hour one of the Friday edition of the Clarence Bug Show, right here on the Pelican.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
For total home pest control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvant.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
They said I could find you here. Why are you fishing? Our company's got to ship out 2 full color brochures and 20 color copies. You're killing me.
It's done. Designed, printed, packaged, and shipped.
How?
You just got to know the right people. Baker Printing, the printing people.
How come you get to fish in this private lake?
Like I said, you just got to know the right people. You can know the right people too.
Days from now? Oh, July 15th. Okay. Welcome back to hour 1 of today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. Want to make you guys and girls aware of some things. First and foremost, if you've not already done so, what are you waiting on? Go ahead and download the Pelican Broadcasting app. You can take us with you anywhere you go. All sorts of great content on demand, the whole 9. And, of course, you can watch us online as well. For those of you, because of Phase 2, you are back at work now, hopefully. You can always check us out online at pelicansportstv.com. Now, next month, some big changes coming. There are going to be changes in the channel numbers where you catch us. For example, in Baton Rouge, Franklin, Patterson, and the various markets in Acadiana, we will switch from channel 113 and 1013 to channels 20 and 1020. All of them will be in HD. So if you're in Baton Rouge, Franklin, Patterson, Acadiana area, you used to pick us up on 113 and 1013. July 15th, we will be on channel 20 and channel 1020, both in HD. In the New Orleans market, we will be switching from standard definition, SD, to HD, high definition, and we'll go from channel 116 only to channels 1116 and 116, all in HD. Finally, the Gramercy Lutcher market. You used to pick us up on channel 113. It now will switch July 15th to 117 and 1117, all of them in HD. We understand that it's a lot for you to digest all at one time. So we will be reminding you constantly between now and July 15th what the new numbers are, and you can go ahead and program your remote control on the 14th, and that way you won't miss a thing on the 15th. Now, in addition to that, the response that we got from some folks for a segment that we did not so very long ago spurred me to think in terms of Friday, and it would be a great thing to do on Friday. Again, if you're not familiar with our background, we've been doing, the Clarence Bugs radio show for the better part of 20 years. And on Fridays, it's always hugs and bugs. It's a relaxed kind of atmosphere, talk about whatever it is you want to talk about, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. But earlier in our TV season, we gave you a little bit of a treat. Understanding everybody's going stir crazy, everybody's worried about football. Are we going to have it? Are we not going to have it? And for folks that love HBCU football, white people, that's historically black colleges and universities. And listen, that's not a negative thing. You don't know. And the only way you're going to know is if someone decides, I need to hip them to this. So white people, when you hear HBCU, know that you're talking about a historically black college or university. I'll make it even easier. A Jackson State, Southern University, Grambling, Florida A&M, Tennessee State, Morgan State, Howard University. Starting to get the picture here? Yeah. So we ran in its entirety a halftime show of the band that is often imitated but never, ever duplicated. Talking about none other than the Southern University Human Jukebox, AKA the Southern University Marching Band. So to get you into this weekend unencumbered and on a high note, at least if only momentarily, once again, kick back, enjoy the famed, the internationally acclaimed, one and only Southern University Jaguar Marching Band. Enjoy.
University Marching Band is led by drum major Trayvon, Goodbye, Caesar, Shogun, Salone. Seven Super Bowls, 4 Super Bowls, 3 presidential inauguration parade, 6-week encore at Radio City Music Hall. The Rose Bowl parade, the Mike Jack Studio. So this put your hands together for the family dancing dogs. They dance a 22.
imagine in almost exactly 1 year from today, we will be anticipating Southern and LSU squaring off for the first time ever in history in Tiger Stadium. And I only hope, and I'm sure this has got to be in someone's wheelhouse, the consideration thereof. The Golden Band from Tigerland and the Human Jukebox have got to do something together. For those of you that made the Parade of Champions, when LSU won the national championship, Southern won the national championship, and we had both the Golden Band from Tigerland and the Jukebox together on the steps of the state capitol. It was a magical moment. It literally made the hair on your neck stand up. Understanding, mind you, from whence we have come, to live to see the Golden Band from Tigerland and the Jukebox side by side on the steps of the state capitol. Understanding our history of segregation, understanding how we still in 2020 struggle to understand one another, to be able to see two institutions of higher learning celebrating an achievement together is something I'll never forget. Hopefully, they'll revisit a little bit of that when the Jukebox and the Golden Band from Tigerland get together again. For me, can't get here fast enough. Need to get my final break of hour one out of the way. Sorry, Alan, out in the truck. I didn't mean to kick the mic stand. He's probably, that boy did it again. We had that kind of relationship. Yeah, he's white, but he's Italian, so we call each other boy. Not a big deal, all right? Last break of hour one. We'll get her done. Come back, put a big old bow, and wrap up hour one of the Friday, first ever edition of the Clarence Bug Show, right here on the Pelican. Stay close.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with MANDA Fine Meats. Here at MANDA, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. MANDA Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. MANDA Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it MANDA every time.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Exiles from what you ask? Exiled from the radio. But now, we're on your television.
I'm Bill Profita, he's Kevin Gallagher, and they kicked us to the curb.
But we're back.
We are back with Exiles Television on the Pelican Broadcasting Network. We're going to bring you the newsmakers. We're also going to take your calls and give you great information. It's going to be the best damn radio show on television.
Look for it on your cable system or download the app, PelicanSportsTV.com.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La CONTEA takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La CONTEA, your Italian dining will change forever.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Welcome back to our first ever Friday TV edition of the Clarence Bug Show. Every now and then, throughout all of the turmoil and the consternation and things of that nature, every now and then you see just a slight glimmer of hope. And one of the things that I miss, and I understand as well as the next guy, what's the old blues song? Everything must change. The refrain says, everything must change, nothing remains the same. And that is just part of the human experience. I get that. But one of the things that I miss most is the abandonment of common sense and the reluctance to just tell things the way they are. Did you see recently, United States Senator Bill Cassidy from the great state of Louisiana, in an interview was asked about these proposals to defund the police. His response, and I quote, "That's one of the stupidest things to come out of all of this." I literally jumped out of my chair. He's got it. He still has common sense. And more important, he is still ready and willing to tell it like it is. Here's what a lot of y'all that are chanting on this defund the police bandwagon. Here's what you're missing. By defunding police and turning this money over to whatever do-gooder agency resides in your particular community, what you are doing is abdicating your responsibility. Listen, y'all, it is not the government's job to tell young black men, young Latino men, young white men that you ought to appreciate the police. It is not the government's job to teach your children that they should not go out and disrespect the elderly, disrespect the downtrodden. That's your job. And at the end of the day, it is not the government's job to teach your child how to deal with the person that is in a position of authority. That's your job. My appreciation for the United States military and law enforcement was not taught to me by the government. I learned it polishing my father's brass every night so that when he went to the office the next morning and it was on his Army uniform, there was an appreciation. The government didn't teach me that I should appreciate my mom because when your dad gets deployed halfway around the world, she's going to have to round up the family and move them and never once complain. That's your job. And the minute you decide you are going to acquiesce that responsibility to someone else, that's not all they're going to teach your child. At the end of the day, y'all, we have got to get back to being Americans. And yes, there are some wonderful benefits that come with being an American. All you got to do is set foot outside this country, and you'll see them real quick. But what we very conveniently tend to forget so many times is that aside from the rights, aside from the privileges, there are responsibilities that come along with that. You want to be treated equal? Great. Then get your butt up an hour early, go to work, and every time the boss says, got some overtime here, your hand got to be the first one to go up. Why? Because we fought a war. Because people thought Clarence is capable of learning just like Bubba. Clarence is capable of getting up, working hard, just as long as Bubba. Clarence is just as capable of using the resources at his disposal to take care of himself. When you start allowing the government to take care of all of your needs, I ask that you remember this. A government that's big enough to give you everything you want is a government big enough to take everything you have. I say again, a government big enough to give you everything you want is a government big enough to take everything you have. This country, y'all, is predicated on and dedicated to the individual. When we get back to that, if you and I decide this day, from this day forth, I'm going to do my part. If we all do that, the rest of this foolishness, it'll take care of itself. I dare you to try me. Prove me wrong. I'll be waiting. Top of the hour. Got to get this break done. We got a friend, a dear friend of the show that's going to help us start off hour two. The wacky, the insane, the legally brilliant E. Eric Guirard. That's next. Stay close.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
For total home pest control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvant.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
Welcome back to hour two of this first ever Friday TV edition of the Clarence Bug Show. And I'm sure by now you recognize the face. You know the name. You heard, if you were with us in the last segment, a dear friend of the show, Attorney E. Eric Guirard. Eric, how are you, my friend?
Hey, Clarence.
All right,
I'm
so
good.
Let's start with, for folks that don't know.
All right.
Who is E. Eric Guirard and what makes him tick?
Ha! Who is E. Eric Guirard? Well, I'm just I'm a normal guy. I'm a Baton Rouge guy. I'm almost 62 years old.
Okay.
So I'm ancient. I'm much older than you, young guy like yourself.
Yeah, right. What high school in Baton Rouge, by the way?
Catholic High.
Okay. Oh man, we didn't get to play y'all much coming up. No, I'm an old Glen Oaks boy.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah.
Go Panthers. I was 76 graduate.
Okay. Yeah, I was 75.
Well, there you go. We're almost twins.
Almost. Almost.
So I grew up here. I was born in St. Martinville, a little Cajun town near New Iberia and Lafayette. But so all my relatives talk like that. They still.
And it's amazing, E. Once you start talking with people, you find out certain things. You just said, "Oh, we're like twins." My mom and most of my lineage hails from St. Landry Parish, Eunice, Louisiana.
Yeah, okay.
And that's all the same area.
It is.
All same part of the state. I might have to go check the birth records, man. You might have something with that twin thing.
You never know. And Eunice starts with an E, so you know.
There you go. There you go. Yeah.
So anyway, I went to LSU undergrad. I was a broadcast journalism and political science double major. Yeah, I was a journalist. I wanted to be a TV guy. I wanted to be a Clarence Bugs.
Get out of here.
That wasn't the path, career path I took eventually. And then I went to LSU Law School. And did that whole gig after that.
So what is the best thing for you about being an attorney?
Oh, I guess I get to deal in my line of work. I'm a personal injury, so I help injured people. So I get to help people, and I get to mix in with the whole mix of society, from the poorest to the richest, in what I do.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of cool, and plus and frankly, I'm a marketing guy too. So I love the fact that I can show off and do the marketing thing and do the E thing, and have fun with it, because I'm a fun-loving guy, but I like to be serious. So I get to deal with the whole gamut of people in society, help them out, and still make a good living for my family. So
you covered the best thing about being an attorney. Let's flip this coin now over on the other side. What's the worst thing about being an attorney?
The worst is probably having to deal with, there are difficult people that you have to deal with, both in the insurance world and opposing parties, the medical folks sometimes. You got some dastardly lawyers out there you have to deal with. Those evil competitors, I like to say, or the guys on the other side. But by and large, though, it's a good industry. But I wish it was different in a lot of respects. But overall, I think it's fine.
When you step back and look at this journey, growing up Catholic High and LSU, and now helping folks professionally, has it been what you thought it was going to be?
It's kind of funny. I didn't even want to be a lawyer initially. That was kind of a lack of a better thing to do. Kind of keep my parents happy. My dad was a businessman in town. He had Mid-South Door Company for years. There was an old company.
I know the business.
That windows and doors. And so he started in the mid-'60s. A guy with hardly a high school education, was just a salesman, and started a business from nothing and grew it successful. And so I was in that whole entrepreneurial spirit, because I was really kind of thought I was going to be more of a businessman. Also, at one point in time, was trying to be a stand-up comic. I
can see that.
I was Cajun E was my stage name.
Awesome.
Cajun E. But then I kind of just, to make the parents happy, to make some money, I figured, well, I better do something a little more productive with the life, because the old comedy thing wasn't working out. So I went to law school, and I really wasn't even sure what I wanted to do. And then I kind of fell into that. And at the time, the personal injury TV combination was coming on. Morris Bart was the original Grand Poobah, and in this state anyway. And I saw that as kind of an avenue for me, because I thought I could parlay my different strengths and make it a success, and it worked out, I think.
If, in looking back over all of this, would you do it all over again, and would E. Eric still be an attorney?
Yes, I would, because I think it gave me a lot of opportunities to do a lot of things, to make a lot of money, to help the community. I think if I had to do it again, I would have split it off into some different businesses earlier on, though. Just to give myself some different avenues to pursue, instead of just the law and just what I was doing, because there's so much more, and I still want to be a businessman and do some other things, because this does get, I mean, it gets old after a while, and I think it would be, kind of fun to go in a different direction.
Was there a quote defining moment for you when you said to yourself, you know what, this lawyer thing, this attorney thing, this is for me. I can do this. This is what I want to spend the next X amount. Was there ever that defining moment, or did it all just kind of shake out that way?
I'm not sure if there was a moment, but once when I started my own firm back in 1994 in a little 1,000-foot cinder block office on Main Street in Baton Rouge, I was a Main Street businessman and lawyer. The bar wants to make sure I say I'm a lawyer, not just a businessman, because they get mad about that. Even though we are businessmen too.
Well, yeah.
It's common sense, right? You like common sense.
Common sense, yeah.
But I think early on, like 6 months in, it was starting to work, So and we were on TV, we were kind of doing the thing, and so around that point in time, I said, this could be it. Before we knew it, we had this big old building on Government Street, and so we were rolling. So
in listening to you talk about your dad. And there's a lot of similarities there with my father as well, who, after his military service to this country was completed, went into private business. I'm sure you probably know that we owned a couple of grocery stores, had 2 places in Catfish Town, the now defunct Catfish Town.
Catfish Town.
But in listening to you talk about your father, it's like he was the epitome of the American dream. Regular guy, worked hard, saw what he wanted, made the sacrifices to make that happen. How much of that played into Eric becoming the person that he is today?
Oh, I think it's huge. I mean, when you grow up with that entrepreneurial spirit in your house, that you see it every day. I mean, and he didn't work for anybody. He had to go and earn everything he had.
Yeah.
And I think we have gotten away from that. And I think part of the problem is government doesn't allow people to get into their own businesses as easy as it used to be. When my dad and your dad were coming up, you could start a business with almost nothing. You didn't have a lot of permissions and regulations and licenses. You could just start your business.
It was a vision.
And a lot of people did. One of the things, we talk about the black-white thing. The black business rate ownership is just, it's like 3% now. It used to be huge. I mean, back in the day, partially because they had to, but out of that necessity came their success. And the same with all folks, all races. It's just not as easy to do businesses now. And I wish everybody, at least at one point in life, was an entrepreneur and did their own business, because you get a lot of lessons from signing the front of the check instead of the back of the check.
Instead of the back of the check. I will never forget, Eric, my dad's first business was a convenience store. Actually, it was a market, because we sold everything that a supermarket would sell. We just had a smaller building. But my father had a vision. And if you look behind Southern University, there is a large residential community. It's called the Avenues, Avenue A, B, C, D, on through L. At the time when my father bought that piece of property for the first grocery store, there was nothing but weeds for miles around. And he piled us all in the car. And bless his heart, he was so proud. He wanted to show his family what he was about to embark upon. And we're driving through this area. The Avenues in the black community is commonly referred to as the field. That's because before all of this development happened, it was just one big field. I will never forget, Eric, as proud as my dad was, he pulls up to this vacant lot, nothing but weeds as far as the eye can see, and proudly proclaims, "This is ours. This is what I bought." My mother, Eric, bawled like a baby. She said, "Oh my God, Ed, you spent our life savings on this? But she couldn't see the vision.
Yeah.
She couldn't see the vision. And years later, when all of this grew to prosper, bless her heart, being the woman that she was, she told my dad, I had no idea what your vision was. And I will forever be grateful that with all the problems we have in this country, with all the racial reconciliation that still needs to take place, it is still the place where, regardless of skin color, regardless of political persuasion, if you are willing to make the sacrifice, the sky's the limit. Do what you will in your pursuit of happiness. And sadly, I think we often forget that, because I know full well my story is not typical. I get that. You know, the average black person in America was not born in Germany like I was. The average black person in America didn't have a father that got stationed overseas for 2 years when they were in 5th or 6th grade. So they didn't have the opportunity to be exposed to all the different races, the creeds, the cultures, and get an appreciation for them. Understanding most folks don't have that, it still doesn't change the fact that America is the shining beacon on the hill. America is the place where if it can be done, you can do it. Tell you what, can you stick around a few more minutes?
I can stay.
Awesome. Let me get this break out of the way. We are talking with a dear friend of the show, attorney E. Eric Guirard. And let's talk when we come back after this break about personal injury, what we need to be cognizant of, and how we can help you get more money for us. That's next on the Clarence Bugg Show. Stay close.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready. And health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
I'll leave for a little while. And all you other letters think you can take over my town. Look at you. None of you's even a vowel. If the people want the money they deserve for their accident,
The E-guarantee.
and as for you other letters, it's time you were erased.
That's right, the Clarence Bugg Show is back, along with the Exiles, Bill Profita and Kevin Gallagher. We've put the band back together, South Louisiana's talk team, and it's only on the Pelican. 10 a.m. till 12 noon, right here on the Pelican.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La CONTEA takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La CONTEA, your Italian dining will change forever.
Welcome back to hour 2 of our first ever Friday edition of the Clarence Bugg Show. Attorney E. Eric Guirard on set with us. E, what advice would you give to a young person considering a career as an attorney?
Oh, God. You mean like me telling my son not to be a lawyer?
Did you really?
I did tell him that.
Why?
I don't know. I guess we going back to the last segment. The downsides of it are a little bothersome sometimes. And so and there's too many lawyers. I think there's an over lawyerification in America, quite frankly, which I think permeates the whole political scene and the governmental scene, and I don't think it's good for the country.
Right.
For 1% of the people to have so much influence over what we do, because that's what lawyers are about, 1% of the population.
Yeah.
So I just thought, and again, it's that entrepreneurial spirit. I'd rather him be a businessman. He's into computer science, and he's a gamer, and his thoughts are in a different direction.
Okay.
I said, you go for it. As long as he's happy and productive, I'm good.
And you need to tailor a young person's future to their abilities, not necessarily what we would want to see them do. Aside from making these absolutely hilarious commercials, what does Guirard do with his downtime?
Downtime. Well, I have the son I just referenced. He's 18. He just finished. Well,
that's a full-time job.
Yeah, he just finished high school, graduated, sort of, kind of.
Kind of, sort of.
He went to Episcopal High School here in town because it's the only school in town starts with letter E.
So there you go. There you go. I love it.
So I love to spend time with him and my daughter, who's 16, is going to be a junior at Episcopal.
Okay.
So a lot of time with them. I'm divorced, but good relationship
but still
with the
a
ex.
dad. Yeah.
Still a dad, and so they with me. Half the time, a lot of time, and I'm a big workout guy. I love to work out, so I'm working out every day. My goal is to be as fit as you are, Clarence. That's my.
Well, this is a genetic thing. They told me, Eric, Clarence is going to catch you at 30. Then they said Clarence is going to catch you at 40. Then they said Clarence is going to catch you at 50. I'm 62 now. So I figure old man weight is on side of the road right now going, damn, that boy can run. I just can't seem to catch him. I eat what I want, when I want, as much as I want, of anything I want. And my weight has never varied more than 5 pounds since high school.
Well, you're unique.
I am.
God bless you.
I'm blessed. So y'all don't hate. Don't hate. That's just a part of it.
So I'm a big worker. Especially I love basketball.
Okay.
I've had a pickup game. We call it Sunday night basketball. We've played every Sunday night for the last 42 years.
Get out.
We think it's one of the longest running semi-organized pickup games in America.
Yeah.
Not all the same guys, mind you, for the last 42 years. A few of them are still there. A handful, but that's great exercise, and I do other things. So
we got to have an Eric Guirard basketball-inspired commercial before all of this is over.
It's already in the planning stage.
Don't
way
let the cat
ahead
out
of
the
you,
bag.
Clarence.
All right. So let's talk personal injury. Person gets in an automobile accident. What is the first thing they should do?
Well, if anybody's hurt, you tend to the injured, obviously, and you call 911 for injury sakes. And the secondary thing with 911 is for the police. People make a mistake. Sometimes they say, let's not call the police, But you always want to call the police and get that record of it. So you want somebody else, a third party, to come and see the scene, because people don't always tell the truth after a wreck.
And on top of that, people don't always remember things the same.
Well, that's right, and you want to make sure that there's a documentation of the insurance and the scene, and what follows up on that real closely is nowadays it's easy, pictures. I say get your cell phone out and take pictures of everything.
Right.
The other person, their license plate, the insurance cards, the damage to the cards, injuries if necessary.
Road conditions, intersections.
The position of the vehicle, where it happened. And that way you have a record. And that way the insurance company later can't say, well, we heard it was, our guy said this happened. So, oh no, we got pictures.
We got proof.
So that's what you do at the scene. And then the most important thing maybe after all that, call E.
Imagine that, right? So, accident has happened. You've documented as best you know how all the pertinent things around the accident and on the periphery, road conditions, et cetera, et cetera. You come in for the consultation. Sit and talk with the attorney about the case. What are the important things to be sure that we convey to our attorney?
Well, And on the consultation, we tend to go out to our clients. We don't make them come to us. So we want to make it really convenient because
that's
it's
why
part
you
of.
eat.
That's right. It's part of that business sense. I just feel I want to make it easy for people, you know,
Right.
and especially now with the pandemic and all that.
Right.
People are a little more paranoid about going out. So
And you're probably a little more at ease when you're at home. You will remember things better. You will make it a point to ask certain things and so on and so forth, as opposed to sitting up in a lawyer's office.
Yeah, and that's why I don't dress like a lawyer. I want to make people comfortable, you know, and my goal is to be friendly. I want people to like me. That's why you see some lawyers on TV or wherever being all mean and gruff looking. I said, what
Right.
are you trying to portray? I want to attract people.
Right.
And so, yeah, you want to make them comfortable, and then you get just the pertinent details, especially with the injuries, because we focus on the injury side. We'll help with the car property damage and
Right.
such, but we don't get paid for that. We get paid for helping people with their injuries.
Mhm.
And so the important thing is to go over with your lawyer every last thing that might be hurting on you. And I'll say, look, go over it from the top of your head to the tip of your toes and tell me everything that's hurting you.
Right.
Because this is your opportunity for someone else to be obligated to pay for your medical care.
Right.
And to get you well and hopefully get you, you know, well compensated based on your injuries
Right.
at the end of the day.
Right.
So you just need to be completely upfront with your lawyer, especially with past accidents too, because that's a lot of people don't want to mention that, well, I got, 14 other wrecks before this. You should have mentioned that, because the insurance company's going to find out. Nowadays
well, of
with
course.
databases, I mean, your whole life's in these databases.
Right.
So they will find out. And criminal records too, that's important too, because sometimes it goes to the veracity of a person. And
Right.
so anyway, so you, honesty, completeness is what we strive to get.
Is there such a thing as the typical, quote, time frame that a person can expect a case to take? We see a lot of attorneys these days that will tell you that, insurance companies know we're not afraid to take them to court, and they know that if I'm the attorney, then these folks are not going to settle quickly, and if we got to go to trial, we will go to trial. But we're not. Is there such a thing as a typical time frame? If a person feels as though they have truly been wronged, and they want, quote, their day in court, what kind of journey are we talking about?
Well, first of all, court typically never really happens. On
Okay.
TV and all the lawyer shows, everybody's in court.
Right.
And 95% of the time, you never get to a courtroom.
Because it's settled
It
beforehand.
always settles beforehand. It just always does. But the length of time is based on two important things. It's based
Okay.
on the amount of insurance you have and
Right.
how bad your injuries are.
Right.
More than likely, if you get in a wreck in this state, you're going to get hit by somebody with the minimum policy, which is only $15,000 worth of coverage,
Right.
or no insurance.
Right.
But if it's the $15,000, nowadays, we have geared it up to where, if you get in the right kind of treatment, your injuries are severe enough, that can turn around in just a handful of months. It used to be, it would take months and months and months,
Right.
But we have now streamlined it. If the injuries are sufficient to where you can get into the right doctors, we can send you to or your own doctors, and we can get those things wrapped up in 2, 3, 4 months, and all of a sudden you can get that thing done and you're moving on, because we don't want to unnecessarily make people go to the doctor too long if there's a limited amount of money.
Right.
You get what you can get for them, and then say, okay, well, if there's additional care, you're going to have to pursue that yourself, because that's
Right.
all the insurance we can get.
Right.
And that's kind of what we do. And you got to watch what some lawyers preach on TV, because I don't trust a lot of them, and they tend to be a little misleading in what they're saying.
Right.
But
Right.
there are just some basic things that you can do to get things done for a client.
Is it been your experience that typically, how do we lay people typically decide this is the person I want representing me? Do we go by the preponderance of ads that we see on television? Is it personal recommendation? Man, this guy did right by me when I had my accident. You might want to check him out.
Well, I'd like to say it's a combination. I mean, you can get a feel for somebody, seeing them on TV a little bit, but you got to remember though, that's orchestrated.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. But sometimes you can get a feel. Like Tom Selleck, For instance, he does a lot of commercials, and I just get a sense that I trust that man. And so if you can convey that trustworthiness through a commercial, that helps.
Right.
But the referrals are real important because, like, I've had 30,000 clients over the years in the greater Baton Rouge area, and a little bit of New Orleans.
Right.
So they're out there. They know me,
right?
And I pretty much dare anybody to say they've had a bad experience.
Right.
I don't. If I don't hear about it.
Right.
And so that's the second place. And then lastly, you got websites nowadays. Go to the person's website. I mean, that's a lot of detail you can glean from a website, and they can talk about their background. They can talk about what they've done. And so I think the combination of that is what people should do.
When an individual comes to Eric Guirard for help with their legal situation, what do you strive for, and what are you hoping at the end of that experience they're going to say about you?
Well, I hope that they're going to say I was professional, I was thorough, and I was friendly. And I got them a good result.
Right.
Remember, the result depends totally on how bad you hurt and the amount of insurance. And it could drag on. We talked about this a little earlier.
Right.
And it could go to court.
Right.
But at the end of the day, they just need to know that they got competent, professional, friendly help that helped them get the best possible result you could. That's what I want them to remember.
How can the folks watching right now that need someone they can trust, someone they can relate to, someone that's going to work hard but still give them a chuckle at the same time, how do they do that, Eric?
225-800-EEEE.
Imagine that. Right?
Or eGuarantee.com.
Right. What would have happened had you not been named E, Eric?
Oh God, that's the most friendly letter in the alphabet. I'd have to be doing something else.
Yeah. Well, my dad was Edward.
There you go.
Starts with an E.
The big E.
My brother was an Edward. Starts with an E.
Another E.
There you go. Get the E guarantee.
Clarence has an E in it.
Yeah, at some point. Yeah, as a matter of fact, has two E's.
It does, too.
Yeah. Ramel has an E in it.
There you go.
Huh. Marty? Oh, wait, never mind.
We can change the spelling.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, M-A-R-T-A-E. Marty. Right. Eric, thank you, my friend,
Clarence,
for the
I
time.
enjoyed it.
But more important, thanks for helping out and being a voice in this community for people that aren't able to be a voice for themselves.
That's one of my goals.
Appreciate you, my friend.
All right, thank you.
Bottom of the hour break, we get her done. Continuing on, hour 2 of the Friday, first ever edition of the Clarence Bugg Show, right here on the Pelican. Stay close.
For total home pest control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvant.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Exiles from what you ask? Exiled from the radio. But now, we're on your television.
I'm Bill Profita, he's Kevin Gallagher, and they kicked us to the curb.
But we're back.
We are back with Exiles Television on the Pelican Broadcasting Network. We're going to bring you the newsmakers. We're also going to take your calls and give you great information. It's going to be the best damn radio show on television.
Look for it on your cable system or download the app, PelicanSportsTV.com.
They said I could find you here. Why are you fishing? Our company's got to ship out 2 full color brochures and 20 color copies. You're killing me.
It's done. Designed, printed, packaged, and shipped.
How?
You just got to know the right people. Baker Printing, the printing people.
How come you get to fish in this private lake?
Like I said, you just got to know the right people. You can know the right people too.
Welcome back to Hour 2, Middle Camera Clarence. Middle Camera Clarence. Thank you, Mighty. Of today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. If you've been with us throughout the weeks, you know that we try to give you guys and girls the heads up on a lot of things. And many of those things are situations that we deal with regularly here in South Louisiana. It is pretty much a foregone conclusion that, I don't know, it was roughly 2.5 weeks or so ago where we had on, and forgive me because I cannot call her name right off the top of my head, a young lady with the Y talking about water safety. The reality of the matter is, it is that time of year now where, you know, we regularly breach 90, 93, 95, 97 degrees. And it is a favorite pastime for us in South Louisiana to beat the heat by swimming, whether it's in a pool or a pond or a lake or the ocean, what have you. And a couple of weeks ago, we made it a point to point out, guys, girls, some basic safety things that you've got to be aware of this time of year. And, you know, I guess for those that pay attention, for the others, they may have said, well, why is Clarence taking time to talk about this? With all this other stuff going on, you know, really? You worrying about people drowning? Well, in Grand Isle, Louisiana, arguably the favorite vacation spot for lots of folks in South Louisiana, Grand Isle has had 6 people drown in 6 weeks. That is an average, obviously. Laura O'Brien, thank you, Marty, was the name of the woman that we had on. And I said, thank you, Marty. Actually, it should be thank you, Jonathan, out in the truck that pulled that up. Thank you, everybody. Just thank all the white people, okay? Yeah, now y'all covered. Y'all covered, okay? Thank all the white people. But Laura O'Brien and I spent a good 15 minutes talking about water safety. And still, at Grand Isle, 6 people have drowned in 6 weeks. While every single one of those cases was tragic, 2 of them particularly were especially tragic. 2 brothers from the same family drowning at one time. The most recent, 43-year-old Chris Boudreau from Galliano, swimming off Elmer's Island, and the bells may go off for many of you because Ed Pratt, communications specialist with the Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries, was on the show not so very long ago, and we talked about Elmer's Island. 43-year-old Chris Boudreaux of Galliano, swimming off Elmer's Island with his family day before yesterday afternoon, Wednesday afternoon. His 6-year-old grandson gets pushed out into the surf by the current. He's struggling. He's drowning. And his 43-year-old grandfather, Chris Boudreaux of Galliano, rescues him, is able to get him out of that rip current and to safety. Unfortunately, the rip current claimed the life of Chris Boudreaux. I cannot begin to imagine what that darling 6-year-old boy, the weight he is going to carry on his shoulders for the rest of his life, thinking about the fact that his grandfather lost his life trying to save his grandson. Many people, when things like this happen, say, well, it was an accident. Accidental in the loss of life, yes. But it could have been avoided. And at the end of the day, if we can circle all the way back to where today's show started, personal responsibility and accountability, when designated as the order of the day, will solve most of the problems that we face in Louisiana, on the shores of Grand Isle, or any place else in America. Personal accountability and responsibility, I say again, will solve just about all of the problems that we face in America. It's that time of year, guys and girls. More and more of us taking to the water. More and more of us enjoying nature's bounty. More and more of us trying to beat that ungodly heat and humidity of South Louisiana. It shouldn't be a tragedy. And it's something that is too easily avoidable. As a matter of fact, the police chief in Grand Isle, Chief Lane Landry, says in his 38 years of performing fire and rescue and police work and being a lifelong resident of Grand Isle, quote, I've never in my memory can remember 6 drownings in such a short period of time in Grand Isle. It is truly sad that this 6-year-old, a Louisiana resident, a 6-year-old who, because of an incident, will never be able to enjoy a Louisiana treasure like Grand Isle the way he should be. It will forever shape how he looks at something that should only be remembered with very fond memories. I will leave to you to decide in every single instance whether or not something could have been prevented. Only those there at the time can honestly and truthfully answer that question. But at the end of the day, in most cases, it comes down to whether or not enough personal responsibility and accountability was applied to that situation. It's that time of year, y'all. Who am I to tell folks don't get in the water? Who am I to tell people Don't try to beat this miserable, oppressive heat and humidity by taking a dip. I just ask that you do so responsibly. Because lest we forget that family, yeah, they're going to carry that burden for the rest of their lives. But the police chief, the EMS crew, the bystanders, those that tried to help, they will remember it as well. And speaking frankly about it, they didn't have a darn thing to do with it. They just happened to be there. Some might say, wrong place, wrong time. I will leave that to you to be the ultimate arbiter thereof. But when it comes down to it, again, guys, girls, little personal responsibility and accountability. It's like I tell my daughter Lauren about a lot of things. If you don't put yourself in certain situations, you'll never have to worry about regretting the situation. Ounce of prevention, pound of cure. Ring a bell? Figured it would. We have our final commercial break of today's show just around the corner. Hopefully, we will all decide this day, after realizing, wow, 6 drownings in 6 days? Enough's enough, y'all. Enough's enough. Hopefully, we will make that decision this day. And from this day forward, every time we're around water, on water, in water, we'll be a little more vigilant. We'll make sure, yeah, I know them doggone people, wildlife and fisheries, Ed Pratt always talking about, make sure you got a flotation device. Yeah, I know they are talking about don't get on the water without your life jacket. 6 lives in 6 weeks, y'all. Somebody's mom, dad, brother, uncle, grandfather, neighbor, friend, co-worker. Hopefully, we won't have to revisit this again. Hopefully. Final break of today's show. We'll bang this one out, get it out of the way, come back, put a big old bow on it, and wrap it all up. The first ever Friday TV edition of the Clarence Bugg Show, right here on the Pelican. Stay close.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La CONTEA takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La CONTEA, your Italian dining will change forever.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
That's right, the Clarence Bugg Show is back, along with the Exiles, Bill Profita and Kevin Gallagher. We've put the band back together, South Louisiana's talk team, and it's only on the Pelican. 10 a.m. till 12 noon, right here on the Pelican.
Hello. Hola. Ni hao.
Experience what the Baton Rouge International School can offer your children. Now welcoming displaced students for short and long-term stability.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with MANDA Fine Meats. Here at MANDA, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. MANDA Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. MANDA Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it MANDA every time.
And I wouldn't be surprised if somebody did just that, Marty. Marty and I, talking in the last commercial break, there is a story out, and I didn't get the website, but it is saying that, and talk about irony of ironies, how this all coincides with me having talked about NASCAR to start the show today. NASCAR is now reportedly, allegedly, reviewing their policies regarding the national anthem, saying that, you know, patrons are no longer required to stand, remove your hat, put your hand over your heart, you know, you can moon the crowd, I guess, if you want, you know, the whole nine. As vice president of the Black Rednecks Club, you have, if this goes forth, you have lost me as a fan. One of the things that, in talking with my black and white friends, because a lot of white ones can't believe, man, you like NASCAR? Dude, I love it. What do you like about it? I said, well, I like the fact that they can literally bend the laws of physics. Well, what do you mean? You can take a car, same horsepower, same aerodynamic package, aero package, and if you can read the draft right, the slower car can pass the faster car. Oh, okay, that is kind of interesting. What else you like about it? Well, I like the fact, and inevitably the conversation comes around to, yeah, but they only turn left, bruh. They only turn left. And you know what I tell people? At 200 miles an hour, if I'm driving, 200 miles an hour in a pack of 43 cars with 2 inches between each car. At 200 miles an hour, around 43 other cars, 2 inches away from each other. I don't want to turn at all if I can help it. But if I have to turn, if I just have to turn, I only want to turn one way every time. I don't want to be driving 200 miles an hour in the middle of 43 other cars with 2 inches or less between each car, and the fool up front forgot, are we going to turn right or are we going to turn left? I don't want you forgetting. I only want you to turn one way, okay? That way, we might all come out of this thing alive. Well, all right, Clarence, I can understand that. Why else you like NASCAR? You know one of the main reasons why I love NASCAR? Is because before every single race, we play the national anthem, we stand for the national anthem, and more important, we pray. Oh, they actually pray in a NASCAR stadium? Yep, before every single race. The chaplain comes out and prays for the safety of the drivers, the track personnel, and for this country. Well, I don't know about that praying stuff. Well, that means it ain't for you, Hoss. That means it ain't for you. I don't demand that you pray. You can't demand that I don't pray. If NASCAR knuckles under, they can kiss me goodbye. I never thought in my wildest imagination that I could do without NFL football. Huh. When they started kneeling instead of standing for my national song and for my flag, wrote them off, Hoss. Now, please do not misunderstand me. You have that right. You're an American. You have that right. Just like I have the right to write your unpatriotic sorry behind off. That's the beauty of what we have. See, too many of y'all are hung up on the fact that I don't think like you think. Too many of y'all are hung up on the fact that this group doesn't feel the way you feel. Doesn't make them bad people. You know what it makes them? An American. We have the freedom, the liberty to do that. And for God's sake, y'all, if y'all never learn anything else in life from me, please learn this. Everything ain't for everybody. I'm going to say it again. Everything ain't for everybody. You 300 pounds, God bless your heart, but spandex ain't for you, baby. It ain't for you. And if you decide it is for you, and I say, will you look at this? You're an American, I'm an American. We both have the right. If you don't learn anything else from me, y'all, please, I beseech you, brethren, by the mercies of God, come to understand everything ain't for everybody. If the old blue-haired white women's knitting club decides they want to have a soiree, that ain't for me. If the old blue-haired white women's club decides they want to have their brunch at wherever, that ain't for me. And I do not have the right, because my feelings, nothing more than feelings, because your feelings are hurt does not give you the right to infringe on somebody else's right. If y'all don't learn anything else from me, please, y'all, learn that. Because what will happen is you will then come to have a true appreciation of what it means to be an American. Doesn't make us weak, it makes us stronger. Because now you have come to the realization my rights only go, can y'all see this? This far. The tip of your nose. Once you get past right here, you are now stepping on somebody else's right. And, in case you didn't know, we're all supposed to be equal. So my right carries as much weight as your right. I may not like it, may not agree with it, but everything ain't for everybody, y'all. Remember that. And when you come to that conclusion, you know what you end up finding yourself saying? I wouldn't have done it that way. I don't particularly care for it. I don't particularly like it. But they're an American. And when you don't come to the defense of those that, quote, hurt your feelings, you better be careful, because whenever, whomever comes for you, see where that goes? Follow it all the way through to its logical conclusion, and you'll see where it goes. When you understand that, when you embrace that, and understand that liberty and freedom comes at a price, you'll appreciate it a hell of a lot more. Just saying. Which is why every day for God, I'm forgetting how many decades it's been now, I end my show by telling folks, you know what? You're right. America, we ain't perfect, but doggone it, for my money, it's the best there is. And God knows there is no place else on his green earth that I'd rather be. speaking of the good Lord. You realize he loves you, right? And I hope you know, even if it's in just the smallest of terms, that old Clarence does too. Of course, now, on the other hand, best news you gonna hear all day, son. There ain't a doggone thing you can do about either one. Have a great weekend. Take care of yourselves and each other. And we're gonna do this again on Monday. God bless.